Coming up in this speedrunning example video.
A boba!
That's my milk! That's my milk! That's my milk!
Whee! You have to stay on your toes and just keep running into tables. We're much safer here. We don't have to worry about as much, even though there are more enemies. So we should just be able to, oh my gosh! Let us absolutely play it safe. Ow, I have exploded and I'm on fire and my hair has been singed. And I've been humiliated once again by a very athletic young man.
Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D!
Come on, just once, give me a fist bump! Dead time!
Welcome to this experimental speedrunning example video for River City Ransom Underground Any %. I'll mostly let the example run speak for itself, but here's a short introduction to set the scene. In this video, you will see me complete this game's single-player story mode in the standard difficulty mode from beginning to end. Not only will I be providing commentary which simulates a marathon event atmosphere, but I have also recorded and implemented many clips of my voice to simulate a small, energetic crowd environment. This is purely to showcase what I believe to be River City Ransom Underground's immense potential to generate crowd interest and spirit. This also demonstrates its opportunities for crowd participation. While I fully accept that crowds being present is far from a guarantee, and my self-indulgent, handcrafted crowd reactions may not reflect what an organic crowd will do, this is just something I personally really wanted to do with this game. I just wanted to show you my belief in this game as a bombastic choice for a speedrunning event. Overall, I hope to showcase this game's flexible, breezy pace, its natural electricity, and its lighthearted, dramatic intensity. This run is absolutely littered with hypeable moments, time-sensitive events, skips, tricks, danger, ridiculous quests, numerous climaxes, and non-stop cartoonish absurdity. Even the early game is packed with several tense elements that I can ham up for audience interest. A ferociously infamous mid-game fetch quest will be particularly perfect for extensive audience spurring and involvement, and from then on, the game only ramps up with spectacle and excitement. Until the final dungeon dive, the game is rendered 100% marathon-friendly with safety saves, and the entire run boasts pervasive opportunities for donations and announcements, despite its constant action and bustle. Even though dying at the end of the final dungeon is costly, this risk can be severely reduced with extra heals or even a boosted save file. The estimate of 1 hour and 23 minutes also takes a potential endgame disaster into account. The vast majority of runs should finish in 75 minutes or less. River City Ransom Underground is also extremely ripe for many donation incentives, which I will provide in their separate submission spaces if applicable. All in all, I believe that River City Ransom Underground can be an excellent speedrunning marathon game for any audience, in person or online, live or on demand. Thank you so much for considering this run for your event. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my provided contact mediums. I will now include the aforementioned crowd-simulated speedrun for River City Ransom Underground Any %. Enjoy!
Hello everybody, my name is Ryan. Saria, dressed as Ryan. And this is a speedrun showcase of River City Ransom Underground! I'm here in my little den with this wonderful fake piped in audience that are all comprised of my voice to show you an example of the potential that I believe this game possesses with electric energy. And hopefully you find that it could have a fit in your speedrunning event, whether it is a live event or not. I understand that even for live events, this run may not fit in the schedule during a natural time where there might be a crowd present, but I just want to show off the energy that this run, I believe, innately brings, and the potential it has as a speedrun. And I really hope that no matter what, you find it enjoyable and entertaining. So, let's get ready to get started here. The first thing I'm going to do before starting the run is change characters to Ryan, who doesn't quite look like I do yet and will never look like this. But this is a tutorial section that we're about to get started in to begin the game. This long and incredibly diverse story mode that we're going to try to complete as fast as possible. But we're switching to Ryan because, just like in the original River City Ransom, he gets less dialogue spoken to him, which saves time. And even though that's not going to be directly saving time for a little while as we start the run, I'll explain that when we get there, but it's still going to be very useful. So, without any more ado, are you all ready to get this show on the road?
Yeah!
I am so excited to show this to you, and we're going to get started. Are you all ready?
Yeah!
Count me in. In 3,
2, 1, go!
Let's do this! It's time to head into River City, and we'll start right at the beginning, which means let's start at the end game. We're already at River City High School in River City Ransom for the NES. This means that we're at the end of the game. So we've already done amazing. We're 10 seconds in and we've just defeated one of the late game bosses to get into the end game. Ivan is done for. He just took a couple of hits and he's down. All right, and now we're gonna dance about it. Yay, let's boogie. So this is not dancing, this is block dashing, and it's gonna be very useful. Hi, pretty face guy, it's lovely to see you. He has a pretty face. Well, not anymore. We're gonna fight some enemies here, but yes, block dashing we're gonna be doing throughout the entire game. It's faster than regular running. Where you have an ability to block in this game, and if you alternate between doing that and rhythmically dashing constantly, then you get short bursts of speed that are faster than dashing normally. So we're going to be doing that all throughout the game, and it's time to fight Otis here, and this is another part of this tutorial section where the game is teaching you how to use special moves. We just gained access to 2 special moves, Dragon Feet and Stone Hands. Also, you might remember those from the River City Ransom. Dragon Feet in this game is way better than Stone Hands in general, but especially for speedrunning, because it is just generally faster overall. It has a faster startup than Stone Hands, and it has a faster animation than Stone Hands, and so Stone Hands is just way slower. So we're only going to be using not Stone Hands, Dragon Feet to take out everybody. Hello again, pretty face guy, and nice move there, not Gary, just stunting on the lockers. You love to see it. And you know who else we love to see? The Dragon Twins. Looking very much not like themselves, but it's okay. We're going to try to take them out at the same time. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful. It's a little bit luck-based to try to get them to stay together, and it takes very much precision. This is very true of any Kunio game that you try to speedrun. You have to get very, very, very lucky at all times, and you have to play perfectly at all times. It cost us a little bit of time to not keep them together, but we're still fine. And now here we go with Simon, the final boss. We're going to finish like an hour ahead of schedule, everybody. Let's do this. He's down. Okay, boom, that's the game. And now it says no climbing, but let's do some pull-ups anyway, because we're not part of this system. My dad's not a phone, duh. And no, it's not time. That was just the prologue. We still have a long ways to go, and so now we flash forward to modern day. That was just a flashback sequence, and you can choose any character out of a selection of characters, and I decided to go with Provy here because I just love Provy. She's an awesome breakdancing character, a B-girl. I just think she's really cool. And you can choose basically any character you want to do this part of the game, because we are in a section of the speedrun that I call, technically, an auto-scroller. Because of that clock you see in the corner of the screen, which is currently orange, that is the indicator for the day-night cycle, which is going to really govern how fast we can go for a while. Excuse me, teacher, don't mind me. I'm just going to, And there we go. Don't worry about it. But yes, the day-night cycle is going to restrict how fast we can go for a little while, because there are certain events that progress the game that only happen in day or night respectively, and if we go too fast, then we're going to have to wait until some of those start, and if we know exactly what we're doing, which we do, then we can just smoothly go where we need to go, and it'll take us to those locations, so we don't have to wait too long. But we can do some useful things for the speedrun along the way, and just like, it won't cost us any time. If things go really badly in the meantime, it's not going to cost us any real time yet. And by the way, some very important stuff just happened. So, a very big tycoon of River City, Merv, has had his beloved kidnapped from him. And we are a part of a gang called the Flock, and we have been framed for that kidnapping. And so now, because Merv is a very powerful person, he has mobilized the entire city against us. And in the high school, that included some cops. And thankfully, that is not true of the entire run right now. It was the cops were only after us in the high school for now. It is possible for them to come after us later, and we really need to avoid that at all times. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but for now, let's just get to a hideout here, and boom. Okay, good. And now we're gonna skip a cutscene really quick. But just by doing that, and by punching Alex in the face, now he wants to be on our side, because that's just how Kunio worlds work. They really respect and love fighting. That's what it's all about, baby. And so now we're going to respect and love fighting throughout the next like 5 or 6 rooms, because the only way to progress the game in these next rooms is to clear out every single enemy and then wait for Alex and Ryan to slowly leave, and then the brick wall on the exit is removed, and so you can actually get out of the room. And so this is the most auto-scroller part of the auto-scroller section, and you just have to hope that Alex and Ryan don't get in your way too much like they just did there. For now, while we're using the character Provy or any other character that isn't the main character that we will be using throughout most of the speedrun, if any characters fall down before they are out of HP, and they didn't want to fist bump me, that's a shame, then it's just way slower. So we want characters to stay on their feet so we can deal quick hits like this, and Alex and Ryan don't like to keep characters on their feet. They just love to knock people down with weak hits, and it just takes a lot of time. And so this is a great time for some announcements and donations while we just do these rooms. Take it away.
All right, thank you very much. It's me again, still me, Saria, in hosting mode here, to give you just some more little bits of information and context in these donation announcement sections. You can see already 6 minutes in, before we get even close to any of the meat and potatoes of what's really going on in the game, there's so much to like here. There's so much humor, there's so much just appealing presentation, and it's easy to follow, and hopefully it's just generally and genuinely pleasant, just in a sort of baseline state. But the tension is going to be slowly building and building and building and building as we go through the run, and as we get to the mid-game, there's going to be a massive quest that I'm going to hype up the crowd for. Let's look forward to that, and back to you for now.
Thank you so much, and that was a climactic ending to that horrendous room. Everything went about as slowly as possible there, with everybody getting stuck behind the cars, so you couldn't even see what was happening, and Alex and Ryan knocking everybody down early, which was bad, as we mentioned, and just nobody cooperated. So this game, being a Kunio game, means that, like I said, we are reliant heavily on luck throughout the entire run, and we just need every single individual enemy for their AI to cooperate with us all the time. And when that doesn't happen, you just lose big chunks of time all throughout. And so that room went much faster, and we really needed that, because that previous room was so slow that it is actually going to make our timing very tight for reaching the next boss that we need to face after the upcoming boss. The boss after the upcoming boss is daytime only, and if you're looking at the day-night clock up in the corner, we're getting close to it actually switching over to night. We have just a little bit more than an in-game hour left before it switches to nighttime, and if it does, before we get the day required boss to appear, then we're gonna have to wait an entire nighttime cycle to get that boss to appear. There is no way in this game for you to skip ahead in the day-night cycle. There's no time skipping. You just have to wait manually. So if we miss this daytime boss, it is going to be like a 10-minute time loss. So we really need this boss fight to not be going as badly as it is right now. This is Purple Bee, and he just refuses to stop jumping, which automatically makes him knock him down and then just have to be helplessly waiting for him to get back up. And then Alex decided to be useful right at the last moment and pretend to help. Thanks, I guess. And unfortunately, this is where we're going to have to say goodbye to Provy, because we're about to gain access to using Alex and Ryan as playable characters, and now Ryan kind of looks like me now, which means he's going to be the best character. So let's switch to him. The main reason we're going to be using Ryan is because he has the single best move in the game for speedrunning. It's not even a special move that uses the special meter. It is his running dash kick called the bird kick, and we're about to employ it starting in this group fight right here, which we need to go quickly because we are running out of daytime. This is the place where we're going to spawn the day required boss, and now I can't even see the day-night cycle because now we're wanted. We broke open the tokens machine to get a little bit of extra cash because we are going to be needing cash throughout this run, but now the cops are going to be after us. Thankfully not inside this room, and that would be a huge problem for what we're going to talk about after this boss, but for now, if this boss appears, good. Okay, I can hear the boss music, so Calvin is here, the son of Conan. If you know who Conan is, good on you. It's a deep cut in kunio lore. He's in a mech, by the way, and we need to not get hit by any of his attacks, especially his big punch, because he can one-shot us. Thankfully, we got him out of the mech, and now let's try to not mess up picking him up too much and juggle him. He's a problem when he's inside the mech, and he's not as much of an issue when he's out of it. He's done for. We're gonna stop and collect his money. Come on, you want a fist bump? Aw. I'm gonna... Oh, surely somebody in this city is going to want to fist bump me. I'm going to keep attempting it, and every single time that is not reciprocated, I will donate $2 to whatever charity this marathon is supporting. But anyway, now you can see the cops are after us because we broke open that tokens machine. That is against the law, and so now we're wanted. And this is a gigantic issue for progressing through this game, because how you progress through this game is to get to required places where you have to fight required bosses and finish required events, so that the next one will start and be triggered, and so you can go to that one, and so on and so forth. And the only way you can get bosses to show up is by defeating every single enemy in a room and clearing them out. And as long as cops are showing up, that never actually happens. And so we have to go to that hideout to get ourselves not wanted anymore, so we can immediately break the law again by breaking open this vending machine, because literally the game told us to. That one's not my fault. And so the game lets us off because of that, and we are not wanted, but you can see we are on a timer, a new timer on the top right of the screen, and the game is telling us to avoid cops that don't exist because we are on thin ice. If we break the law again, then we will be wanted again. But we are in a section of the game right now where, as I was mentioning earlier, we have to clear out a bunch of rooms of enemies in order to trigger the next required event. This is a unique situation where we have to clear multiple different rooms before the game will know to spawn the next boss, Pink Bee. So we have to fight in every single room in this warehouse area, and there are multiple ways to tell the game that you've cleared out all of the enemies, and we are making use of all of them in these fights. The most simple way is to just fight all of them until they are all defeated, like we just did there. Another way is to have them run away, and that counts as them being cleared out and defeated as well, like they're running away here. That's fine. And another way is to throw them into bottomless pits. That also counts as defeating them, and we will be making a lot of use of that later on. But for now, here's Pink Bee. I'm just gonna clear some space to the right so I can just use lots of bird kicks, and I'm gonna knock him down with that so I can get him airborne, because with Ryan, now we can actually do useful things and juggle people while they're in midair, using the beginnings of an infinite combo. This game has an infinite combo prevention system, so naturally, we can do infinite combos whenever we want, as long as we do a very specific sequence. First move, second move, second move, third move, second move, first move, and rinse and repeat. By the way, that construction worker just did some parkour. I noticed that. That was awesome. But yeah, we're gonna try, especially once bosses get a lot more health, we're gonna be doing that infinite combo as much as we can. Punch, bird kick, kick, bird kick, punch, rinse and repeat. And you know what else would be really nice right now is if there were a subway here, because I'm trying to quick travel back to the earlier part, and there it is. Holy moly, that took a while, and I got knocked down. Holy cow, that actually was almost really awkward. Again, it wouldn't have cost us any real time in the run yet if we had straight up missed a second cycle with that subway by getting knocked down, and we're getting made to look like a fool right now with how often we're falling down. That just happens in this game. You will get knocked down many times in running this game. It'll just happen. But there are going to be 3 instances in this run where we're going to go to a subway to quick travel, and it's completely luck based whether or not it's there when you get there, or if you just get really, really bad luck in the timing and it just isn't there at all. So now we're going to do a required cutscene here before the next part of the game that we have to do is triggered, and by looking at a cutscene here, I mean we're going to skip it. Boom! Roxy loves that so much, she forgets what she's going to say, and we can just go off and do our business. I do not condone what Ryan just did. I advocate for self-love. You deserve to treat yourself better than Ryan just did. You are wonderful, you are worthwhile, and please be good to yourselves. But anyway, we are doing a chase sequence, a bunch of chase sequences here. And this is a part of the game that has had mixed reception because we're gonna see some familiar faces from River City Ransom. And are we gonna fight them? Bye, Rocco. No, we're just gonna chase them. So fans of these characters might be a little upset that they just go down with one punch after trying to flee, but that's what age can do to you. It can make you worse at fighting. And let's fist bump this bird to feel better. Oh, dang it, that's $2. I can't believe that bird didn't want to fist bump me. But yes, there are 2 more instances of Slick's former henchmen that we're going to try to find and then chase down to try to get some information out of them, because in true River City Ransom fashion, this is a game where in order to progress the game, you have to follow like 16 billion trails of breadcrumbs before like you can actually get to the main meat of what is going on in the plot. And speaking of meat, we just picked up an octopus roll. We're not going to eat it yet. Even though the octopus roll can increase our strength, it can only do that if our maximum strength stat is high enough. So you have 2 versions of your stats in this game, a current stat and a maximum stat. Think of the maximum stat as the container that your stat that actually affects what your character is doing can be stored in. We'll talk about that more later, but for now I have to nail this chase sequence with Tex. This pipe is difficult to enter. Okay, we got it. And now we have to be really precise here. We got him. Okay, good. That one, even after this game has been nerfed in patches, and this has been made way easier to do, if you do anything barely wrong, that's another $2 by the way, in this chase sequence with Tex, you have to restart it from the beginning. And even though we do have leeway with getting to the next nighttime required event on time, which is our next chase sequence, the next person we have to chase can only appear in the nighttime. And we still have a decent amount of nighttime left before we're gonna have to like wait an entire day sequence instead. But it would start getting pretty tight if we keep having to redo the text chase. Thankfully we didn't, and now it's a little ways to go before we get to the next guy, so I'm going to leave it open for some donations and announcements once again.
Sounds good. So, the first daytime required boss is by far the tightest one to try to reach without missing it and then having to wait the 10 minutes for it to switch to daytime again, but that is completely negated by safety saves. Almost everything in this game that is extremely dangerous and that could cost tons of time is totally trivialized by safety saves all throughout the game. There's only one instance where that is not the case, and we'll get to that later on. One more little thing to note, you see that this costume I have cosplaying as Ryan, some of my chest is exposed. If you would prefer that not to be the case, I can have the wraps around my chest instead, so it's just a little bit of belly exposed. We can talk about that if you accept my run.
Thank you so much once again, and here we are in the elevator taking us up to a climactic encounter on the rooftop. You know who it is, everybody. It is a showdown with Ivan. Yeah. Because of course it's not Slick. Again, we have to do like 5 more trails of breadcrumbs before we get there. And this is one that makes especially like my girlfriend really sad, because Ivan slash Goda is like a deuteragonist of the Kunio-kun franchise as a whole. And this is the last we see of him. He goes down really quickly in his first showing, and he doesn't even fist bump us. Let's give him a noogie instead. And now he's like a chasing victim in this part. So he doesn't have much of a role in this game, and yeah, that's a bit of a shame, but let's just... You know what? We did not leave the Ivan encounter unscathed at all because I stink, and so you know what? Maybe Ivan wasn't that bad in this game after all. But the next thing we have to do is fight Otis, and he only shows up in the daytime, and we have a full in-game hour left on the night clock before he's going to show up. So we have a little bit of time to kill. And so that is a really nice thing about being able to route this game out and know exactly where you're going. Now we have a chance to collect some extra money, and we're going to need it to get absolutely smoked by that guy. Okay, let's just get out of here. But yeah, we're gonna need that money to buy more octopus rolls and other items that can increase our attacking power, because we're going to wait to get some level ups before we use those items, because level ups are what increase your maximum versions of your stats. It's what makes your containers, your stat containers, big enough for the stats to actually have an effect. So I believe I have enough level ups now that I can eat that first octopus roll, but I want to collect as much money as possible throughout the game to buy more of those items. There's a level up. So now I should be able to eat that octopus roll and actually have it have an effect on my attacking power. And also, hopefully, we're not going to get any reinforcement enemies to show up right at the last moment. Hopefully we get Otis right now. There he is. Excellent. And that is the last moment, folks, that we have to be restricted by the day-night clock. From here on, every single time loss is real. So let's get this show on the road and let's blaze through the rest of this. I hope you're all liking this run so far. How are we all doing? Thank you all for humoring me. All right, and it's time to humor our next boss, a new addition to the lore of the River City Ransom Underground cast, a person who is very, very, very fanatical with Slick. And so he's going to be the one to finally tell us where Slick actually is. So we have to go to the River City basement. This is the new high school location, and we need a special weapon to actually open this door, which only appears at this point in the game. And this room can be very difficult to actually navigate because these enemies are just going to run away without even looking at us for a moment. Okay, thank you for letting me into that vent very easily. And then we had a nice Dragon Ball Z interaction there. But now we're gonna fight them because now we need to spawn the next boss, Ether, who's going to finally tell us where Slick is in the modern day. So now, when we fight Slick, that'll be when we can finish the game. And finally, get our names cleared, and it all starts here with Ether, and that is one of the coolest animations in the entire game. It is truly amazing. Shoutouts to Ben and Rudis, one of the leaders of this project, and one of the leaders of the art and animations. And that is a look at how the infinite combo is going to be looking, ideally, throughout the rest of this run. So bosses, fist bump? Oh, come on, man, that's another $2. You all are gonna make me go broke as I collect his money. Yes, the bosses are gonna be gradually having more and more and more health. So the infinite combo is going to become longer and longer, and it's not trivial to do. So we're gonna need to be on our best behavior. And now we're gonna go from River City High to River City High. Because, as I mentioned, this is the new River City High School. There is, the one that we did the tutorial section in was a different River City High, and that's where Slick is hanging out at. So we're gonna block slide and run and platform our way over there, and this is a good time for some more donations and announcements.
I mentioned Ben and Rudis earlier, a developer for this game. I might reach out to him to see if he would want to do some dev commentary for this game if it is accepted for your marathon.
Thank you so much for that. It's time for another Subway. Here we go. Is it going to be here? And now it's going to actually cost time if it's not. Uh-oh. It's not here. There it is. All right. Subway number 2 was not too bad. And these, when we're actually riding the subway and quick traveling, we get an extra chance to get some money. Not just from the enemies, but because the top right corner is taken up by the subway timer, we can actually break the law and attack pedestrians and get their money without becoming wanted. So that is very useful. It feels really bad, honestly. I do not condone this behavior either, but this can be very, very useful for being able to get just enough money to get an extra item which can boost your strength that much more and allow you to get through fights faster. So this took us right to the old River City High location, which has seen better days. And one aspect of that is going to really help us out in the higher floors. For now, let's just do some fights here, and we're gonna see an enemy that is not just from the kunio-kun or River City Ransom lore, ow, but from some Double Dragon lore, who a lot of you know and love. It is a Bobo! And so we're gonna get some good old Abobo love, and by that I mean fighting. And of course, Abobo takes way more hits, and so we're gonna try to route out these fights as well as we can. And reinforcements might come at really bad times. So like I mentioned before we fought Otis, this game has the chance to spawn in new enemies right at the end of a fight, which forces you to have to fight the new people, because the end of a room being cleared out, oh my god, that was close. That was all very finicky, but we survived it. The end of a fight happening and a room being cleared out isn't actually noticed by the game until every single enemy is actually gone. And so even if you've cleared out an entire wave, if reinforcements come in at a really bad time, you have to deal with them before the game actually knows that the area has been cleared out. And that can happen at really awful times, and that is going to be one of the things throughout the rest of the game that can govern how fast things are going. And that's another luck-based thing on top of all the other luck-based things that we just have to deal with, on top of playing really well. But as you can see, this place is so dilapidated that goodbye. That's how I feel about River City's community never passing a levy. I'm just going to send you all into the void. And of course, this is a trade-off where you don't get their money by throwing them into the pits, but look at how fast that went. That's a trade-off that we can accept for this speedrun. And because the Abobos have so much more health, taking them all the way over here is also way faster. Even though it's not as much of a crowd control use of the pit, it's still faster. And also we have to free all the teachers in this area because they're being held hostage because it's River City Ransom. And now with this last Abobo cleared, it's time for the final confrontation on the rooftop. This time, it really is him! It is Modern Slick, and we have to try to keep him facing left at all times, because you see that gigantic pit over there? If we are facing to the right of him, and he does one of his main moves... Uh-oh, don't do it. Okay, we just have to stay to the left of him, because if he does one of his main attacks, he's going to end up in the pit, and it costs so much time. But we've defeated him, everybody! Now, we have truly won against the final boss, and the game continues. That was just the end of Act 1. Did I get you again? Surely this will never get old, right? But no, that was the last time. Don't worry, that was the last time. Surely we're... Anyway, one thing that I did during that cutscene to make the cutscene way faster as we entered Act 2 was I consumed 2 items at specific times. So when there are a couple of dialogue instances in that game, more parkour by a jock, by the way. Oh, Subway, is it here? Uh-oh. Now, every single second that the subway doesn't appear, we are losing real time. Okay, that wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. Let's just take it. But yes, with the cutscene with Slick, after we defeated him, I consumed items at very specific times. There are a few dialogue instances in this game where if you consume items during text, it skips a lot of dialogue lines. And it just so happens in that cutscene that if you consume 2 items, it skips 2 groups of dialogue lines. So you can save a lot of time by consuming items during that, because Slick just watches you. He sees that you're not paying attention to him, and so he's like, I guess my monologue doesn't matter right now. I guess I'll just shut up and let you go. Thank you, Slick. We really appreciate it. So there is a cutscene that you can do in the auto shop that tells you where to go next, but it's not required. So we're just gonna go where we need to go next. The next part of the game is now open. There was a glowing meteorite in Chonwook Park that blocked the access to where Acts 2 and 3 are going to be mainly happening. Well, mostly Act 2, not Act 3. But it's gone now. So on the way, we have enough money to get a few more octopus rolls. At least 1. Yeah, we can get 2. And again, I'm gonna wait before I eat them, just to be sure that I have enough of my maximum stat containers expanded by level ups to be able to have those octopus rolls actually take effect. And we're going to mosey on through Chonwook Park and go to the new area that has been opened up. The strange glowing meteorite is no longer there, and so we can go to the forest. And this is a unique place. So you see how you can't move up or down at all in this place? Surely that won't be a massive issue later. So we have to stop to fight here. The exit is walled off until we trigger a boss fight. And so to do that, we have to clear out the room. And we can get very late reinforcements here. We got a reinforcement. We didn't get all of them. And so hopefully the last one doesn't show up at the worst possible moment and cost me like 10 seconds. Good, okay. So now we can fight Pink Bee and Purple Bee together. You can't really fight them on that branch, and so let's just goad them down here and hope that this doesn't go too badly. This fight can be either really good or really bad, and there's not that much you can do about it. It's tough to be able to focus on doing the infinite combo because there are two of them and they're usually desynced, so we've just got to hope things go well. Yep, this is fine. Nice. Now, I'm going to collect a bit of extra cash as soon as they both enter their defeat animations. Then the exit is opened up, and so I was kind of stuck between, do I want their cash or do I just want to go? And so eventually I decided I'm just going to go. My indecision cost a little bit of time, and we got a little bit of platforming here, no big deal right now. And we are on the way to another beloved, maybe, River City Ransom character's home as a new hideout. It's gonna be Cindy, and just keep an eye out for the most festive house on this street. There it is, and here she is! Ryan's girlfriend, who has a husband. Okay. Well, let's not worry about that, but then the thing that we're going to be concerned with as a result of this cutscene is the next required event, which I need to tell you all right now is the main event of this speedrun. This is the unbelievable, the incredible, the exciting, the dreaded milk quest. Cindy wants milk, and it's our job to get it for her. And you're gonna see why that's an issue once we go back to get it, but I'm gonna let the hype silently build while we get some announcements and donations. But you know how we just came all the way through the forest? We have to go all the way back immediately. Take it away, host!
This is a golden opportunity to really play the crowd. This quest is so absurd, and it is absolutely perfect for an environment like this, I think. And due to the patched version of the game that I'm playing, it's actually going to be a lot safer than how I presented initially. It just might be fun to string the crowd along into believing that one mistake here is tragedy.
Thank you so much once again. All right. Let's explain why this is the quest of River City Ransom Underground. This is a patched version of the game. The original version of the game required you to get milk, carry it over your head, all the way back through the forest, all the way back to Cindy's house, from the mall that we're about to go back to. And that can happen at any moment as we're going through the trek. If you got hit a single time in the original version of the game while you were manually carrying the milk as a overhead item, then it broke, and you had to go all the way back to the mall to get it again. You see how long it's taking for us to even get all the way back here? We're not even at the mall yet. So if the milk breaks right at the end, that costs like 4 minutes. That's what we're up against right now. We are about to go get the milk, but it's going to start with actually a very important skip that we're going to try here. We're going to block slide over here. The milk is in this room, and now we're going to try to do some mashing here. Now, so we can't block slide while we're holding the milk, but if we do some intense mashing here, this is not good. This is not good. I can't tell if I got it. Okay, we're going to find out once we get to Cindy's house if we got a boss fight skip. So if you leave that room before the dialogue is done, then you can skip a boss fight. But for now, let's try to keep these enemies off of us. They don't understand that this is not their milk. I'm not bringing this milk to them. This is my milk. So I need you all to chant right now, "That's my milk! That's my milk! That's my milk!"
That's my milk! 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 That's my milk!
Okay, this room helps because we can use the platforms to get away from them, but now we've got a long room here. We can't avoid them up or down. It's all up to the game. Oh, and we're just a sitting duck every time we land. Okay, and now coming up is the toughest platforming in the game. This is very precise 2 jumps right here. Let's go. Okay, we got it. 2 more rooms, everybody. I need you all to let them know once again, that's my milk! That's my milk!
That's my milk! That's my milk! That's my milk! That's my milk! That's my milk! That's my milk! That's my milk!
I think they're listening. I think you're doing it.
That's my milk!
Okay, did we get the boss skip?
That's my milk!
Yes, we did! That is the milk quest complete! We did it! Thanks to all of you, we were able to first try the milk quest. Thankfully, in this patch version of the game, if we had gotten hit, we would have gotten 3 chances to drop the milk and pick it back up and resume our journey midway without being incredibly penalized. But still, first trying the milk quest is always amazing, and thanks to your help, the enemies knew to leave us alone. Amazing. And now, after we've gotten through that hellacious and unbelievably luck-based and gruesome part of the game, it's time for something possibly even more ridiculous immediately. The next required part of the game involves a mountain of luck. We have to get a specific thing, and that is a dog tag. And that might not sound bad, but just you'll see. And the way to do that is to fight a mercenary that arrives via helicopter in this area of 4 different rooms. It's completely luck-based whether or not the helicopter even shows up. And there we go. All right.
Hooray!
Here we go. We have to follow this. Okay, it is in this room, and now we're gonna fight this mercenary and get his dog tags. And nice, we're even juggling him through the air. This is a really tough part of the game to fight in for so many reasons. All right, we got his dog tags, and now we got to do that 5 more times. We're getting really lucky so far with the helicopters actually appearing. It can take up to a minute or more for the helicopter to actually appear so you can actually fight people and get their dog tags. This is absurd. And as you can see, while you start the fights, the camera pans all the way up to the helicopter every time. That does not stop the gameplay. And so these increased aggression and strength enemies, these rich kids, and all the other enemies that are coming after you, can just knock you down, and there's not a single thing you can do about it. And then now we're fighting just enemies in general, but especially these mercenaries who are way more likely to block you and do a lot more special moves and just have way more aggressive and brutal AI. And so if you start the fight off while you're lying on your butt like this, then you could be in trouble. So things like we could have gotten mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, that was a weird statement that I just tried to say. We could have gotten one-shot by Calvin at the beginning of the game. And things are only getting harder and harder and harder and harder as the game goes on. So I am now just consuming a lot of items, not only to get my health back up to full so I don't get absolutely annihilated by any of these fights, but also because I have to clear out all of my inventory space, because I only have barely enough room in my inventory to get every single dog tag that I need to trigger the next part of the game. You have to have all 6 dog tags in your inventory. So that means it's gonna be a while. I'm sorry, but this is cool. Like, these are all Kickstarter backers, and it's a really cool feature to be able to include all these people, and they needed to find a way to fit them. The main thing I have to do is just keep collecting dog tags until my inventory is full. And so I have to eat this last octopus roll to have enough space to actually hold all of them. So even if it's not gonna, even if our maximum stat for our strength is not big enough for us to actually get effects from those octopus rolls, it doesn't matter, because we have to fill up our inventory with dog tags before we can move on. And this is a good time for donations and announcements once again as we finish up getting these dog tags.
So, depending on how everything goes, this could be one of the best opportunities in the run for the host to just go ham and just light us up with announcements and donations and just do some great work for the charity in the event. This should be an excellent time. And as far as the RNG for this section goes, it should never be a huge problem like 10 extra minutes or anything. It should usually even out to be a range of about a minute or a minute and a half. In this run, it went way faster than average. It should work well either way.
All right, thank you so much. And that led us perfectly to the appearance of the final helicopter, our 6th holder of dog tags. And that was not a terrible mercenary section. We didn't have to wait a terribly long time for most of these shadows to appear. And sometimes you have to chase the shadows all across long rooms. And oh gosh. Okay, we're getting messed up here. Let's focus for a moment. Good, good, good. Let's just get out of there. Okay. Now we don't have healing items with us. Thankfully, the moment that they enter their flashing animation, you get the items from them, so you don't have to wait around and potentially get destroyed in the process. So now we can enter this room and get our final mercenary to appear, who is the strongest one of them all, now that we have all the dog tags. And again, to get him to appear, we have to defeat all of the enemies first and clear out the room and collect all their money. And hopefully we do that before reinforcements appear at the last moment. Please? Of course. We got last second reinforcements, and that guy doesn't even feel like fighting us. What a poop head.
Hey!
I'm sorry. I'll try not to swear again. Now he appears, so that was one of our worst reinforcements moments of the game, and look at him go! What an acrobat! And yeah, these mercenaries, they can spend your entire life blocking, and the way to counter that is to grab them, but if you try to grab them, they can just jump away. So now the AI is starting to get very intelligent, which is going to be a bigger and bigger and bigger problem, just like the fact that none of them want to fist bump us! That's another $2. Alright, so the mercenary section is now completely done, and so let's just eat all those dog tags, because we don't need them anymore. And like a true River City Ransom game, you just eat every single item in the game. I just got smacked into the club, and so that's how you know we're gonna have a good time in here. And coming up is one of my favorite parts of this game, this elevator! Whee! No, it's not this elevator. It's what happens after it. This very climactic way to clear out this room. This is a very intense fight. I'm gonna need some serious time here. Absolutely intense. Okay, anyway, it's time for the boss. This is Adam. There are lots of Kickstarter bosses in this game, and this is one of them. This is like the leader of the rich kids, and this is one of the biggest, finest moments where we can show off the infinite combo. Oh, and I messed it up, actually. So that's when you know that the infinite combo prevention system is activated. And I forgot which part of the sequence I was in, so he broke out of it in midair. But, okay. So if you do that fight correctly, you can have him defeated before the rich kids actually show up. And so that boss fight was kind of slow, but now we can still, at least while we're waiting for his money and the cutscene to be done, we can still collect some extra money, get a level up, get knocked down, almost knocked off the building, which I guess would have been karma for what I just did to everybody else. Okay, I would have really liked to defeat all of the rich kids and get all their money, but nothing about that nothing about that room went perfectly, but it was okay. Nothing in a Kunio speedrun or a speedrun in general is ever going to go perfectly. You just have to adapt, you have to stay calm, you have to stay on your toes, and just keep running into tables. Do as I say, not as I do, question mark? Okay, let's keep going. So, let's go into this shop and buy the best item for speedrunning in this game, which, fittingly, I guess, is named after this very game, River City Ransom Underground, River RCRU, and we're gonna save that, again, for some extra level ups just to make sure that the stats are actually going to go into effect, because my container for the stats are going to be big enough from the level ups, and it's time to head to one of the most climactic parts of the entire game. It's incredible, it's ridiculous, I love it. While we're on our way there, let's get some more donations and announcements. Thank you all so much, everybody, this has been amazing.
Another nice thing about this game for a marathon is that whenever things go wrong like they did in that Atom fight, it kind of adds to the entertainment because people just sort of flew into the air and were knocking each other over like bowling pins. It's just an amusing game, and you don't have to play it perfectly to be able to show off its appeal.
Thank you very much. So that last room we just got past, it's possible for the bikers to spawn directly on top of you and then for you to get stun locked forever, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it because this is a perfect video game, and more than anything, it's a Kunio game. But more than anything right now, we have to clear out this room before we can actually go onto this lift and ride it. So this is one of the biggest fights in the game where late reinforcements can really mess you up. And as you can see, the AI is starting to really be a problem with how often they're blocking and jumping around and just generally avoiding damage. So not only do we have to play really well at all times and react to everything extremely quickly, like the fact maybe that cop might drop money and he didn't. Okay, that was pretty good. But we also have to hope from really good interactions from every single enemy. And the amount of things that can go wrong, like this guy not giving me a fist bump. Come on, you mean you're not gonna try and give me a fist bump through the window of your office building when I'm far outside of it riding a moving lift? You gotta be kidding me. What a mean person. But yes, anyway, enemies, yes, AI, very diverse and robust, and I need lots of good luck for the rest of the game. Just like on this lift, as we do 4 sequences here, where the fastest way to complete this is just to knock them down immediately and throw them off. But for marathon purposes, I might just try to fight them normally, because getting that to actually happen can be very finicky sometimes because of the ridiculous enemy AI. So we've got 3 more waves of enemies. Magic trick, by the way. I hope you like that. And this is another good time for more announcements and donations.
As we approach this next part... Whee! This is another good time to note that safety saves are going to completely remove any danger of things going wrong here for a marathon. Even though I'm going to be playing up the tension and brutality of this in the actual commentary, that's for the benefit of the crowd. And hopefully all of these donation/announcement breaks are giving you a sense of how friendly this game can be for hosts and for the event in general. It is definitely on the longer side for a beat-em-up run, but there's so much different stuff that's happening inside the game, and I want to be sure that I'm providing plenty of breaks so that the event can benefit from this game as much as possible. Hopefully, all of that is coming through for you. Onward to the Act 2 climax.
Thank you so much. You just saw me throw that last police officer off of the lift after he had already gotten up in my arms, which caused him to do a bunch of front flips and bounce off the ground. So that's one of the many cases of me having to just react very precisely to all sorts of really robust situations that are going to be happening all throughout the game. So if they get up in your arms, instead of you just being able to throw them normally, they bounce off the floor, and they can also bounce off of walls. And in this lift section, the pulley counts as a wall. So I have to go all the way back to the middle of the lift to be able to throw them off whenever they get up in my arms. And we're not going to worry about that with these last 2 mercenaries. I'm just going to fight them normally. Because of how often these guys like to block, you can spend a long time trying to knock them down and then throw them off. So we're just going to do that, and it gives us the benefit of getting their money in the process, which is going to be very useful. It's a shame that we could only get 1 RCRU after defeating Atom. Having 2 of those makes us way more powerful for the end game, which is so nice. But even though this is not the end game, this is a very climactic and exciting section. Merv Tower, are you all ready for some absurdity? Here we go. Long hallways. Can you believe it? But there's more. A step ladder. All right, we're through it. Woof. Okay, now we're in this beautiful office space. Now, okay, finally, a nice wide open place to fight. We're much safer here. We don't have to worry about as much, even though there are more enemies. So we should just be able to... Oh my gosh! Thankfully, cubicles are impervious to fighter jet bullets, as we know. Merv is pulling out all the stops. Oh my goodness. Okay, so one nice thing about the fighter jets is that their bullets can actually hit the enemies as well, which can save time. You know what else can save time? The enemies are going to bring in a key card that'll allow me to unlock this door, but they'll also unlock it themselves as they come in. Yoink! That's a wonderful skip, and we will take it. So we're just going to try and route out these rooms so that we can try to get to the door whenever the last... Oh, no! No, no, no! I'm dead. Just kidding, because we have tutorial stamina. Thank you, River City Ransom Underground. We have 2 tutorial safety nets, and that is the first one. And it's not uncommon for that to happen here, because Merv Tower is a doozy. The moment you get clipped by any enemy, that is just gonna happen. And now we're gonna wait here for the next person to give us our skip potential. We have to wait for money to disappear. That's why that's happening. And now this room is more precise, and it can go much faster. All right, here we go. We got to get a precise jump here. And it's not super precise. It's just awkward. Now, hopefully, everybody falls into the pit. Gimme, 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 gimme. No! How dare you? And he didn't even get hit by any of the bullets. Okay, so we're losing a lot of time here compared to how fast this can go and how just lovely it feels for all of them to just jump to their dooms and the door to just open for you immediately. But you don't have to fight in this room. That is Merv Tower. We did get shot about 16 times and died. But hey, it's a Kunio game, so as long as you still want to fight, death doesn't matter. And Ryan still wanted to fight. So here we are, standing and facing Merv face to face with our faces. And this is a very important cutscene, which means this is a very good time for one donation.
A break for the host does make sense here, but this is also a good opportunity for me to really hype up the crowd for 2 very important tricks that I will be performing back to back as soon as this cutscene is done. A break probably makes more sense.
Perfect. Thank you so much. As we see this wonderful, heartwarming reunion between Merv and his beloved dog. So, now our names are cleared. Everything's good, right? That should be the climax of the game. This is the end. Now we've completed it, and time is coming up in about 25 minutes or so, maybe. Probably less. Maybe 20. Because we've got a quick kill coming up right here. This is a very stressful quick kill, very precise, and I really, really want to get this. We are going to be falling down on a fighter plane, and not only is there a quick kill I'm going to try and get against this boss, but right after it, I'm going to try and set up a death warp. But first up, the quick kill. Here we go. Come on, baby. I missed it, but the game let me have it anyway! Okay, so now you're gonna wait for a little bit, especially because I do not have my tutorial stamina anymore. Now I'm gonna fall off. Now my second safety net has been activated, tutorial willpower. Now I'm gonna lose that, and hopefully I did it with the right timing so that, boom! We did it. That is the quick kill into the death warp. Well, the death warp isn't complete yet. But you see how we're in this cutscene and we have our, our death icon in the top left? So we're dead. Yay! No, we're not. Let's get some money. This is what you call house money. We're dead, but we are raking it in and ow. You know, I've run into a wall so many times that it finally killed me. That's what happened here. And so now, boom, Cindy's house. That is probably the biggest time save I've discovered in this game so far. And man, it's a shame that doing this removes your tutorial safety nets with the stamina and willpower, because all throughout the rest of the game, we have the potential to get one-shot by basically everybody. So that's a problem, but it's just so useful. I can't not show this off in a marathon. That is the biggest skip we have left in this run, but we have a few more big time saves, and the entire rest of the game is going to be high octane and high risk fighting, especially because now we have the strongest regular enemies and most annoying regular enemies in the entire game about to join the enemy pool, which is about to look way different, by the way, because of what has just happened on the screen, which don't worry about it, by the way. By far, the most sad thing that just happened in this scene is the fishbowl exploding and their poor goldfish not having a good time as a result. Anyway, let's go back, and everybody is looking a little bit gray. But we're not worried about them. Like, everybody who is colored gray is way stronger than their regular counterparts, and yes, that can be an issue, but it's not nearly as much of an issue as the brand new enemies that are going to be with them, that we're going to be hoping to see the least amount of, because hopefully the game just does not spawn them in when we need to fight in rooms to get events to trigger. And that is going to be the secret agents, which we haven't even seen a single one of yet. And so oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, thankfully we can just run past that one. If we have to any instance where we have to fight any of those people, we are losing immense amounts of time, and also we are clenching because they are brutal. But for now, we are running all the way back to Roxy's hideout again. We're going straight from cutscene to cutscene because, like, something's clearly happening here. For now, let's just stay on the move. Don't run into the pit here. Or run into that! Okay, we're going to pass the sushi shop. Eventually, we're going to go back in order to buy more octopus rolls and then eat all of those to get our strength up. But here's something important. So the game is telling us to chase this person, and it's going to let us do that. If we leave on the left side, then we can chase him all the way to River City High School. But if we do that now, nothing will happen. We'll have just wasted 5 minutes for no reason. First, what we have to do is go to Roxy's, the auto shop, sit through a cutscene here, which unfortunately we cannot skip. I've tried many different things to try to skip any of this, and I've been unsuccessful because it seems that many different parts of this game were coded differently. And so some skips that work in some parts of the game do not work in others. I don't fully know everything about it, so I'm just going to hide behind this punching bag in shame. But yeah, we have to wait through this. This is going to trigger another boss to appear, Me from Dad and Me, which I believe is another Kickstarter reward that was put into this game. And then once we defeat Me, again, I advocate self-love, everybody, then we can chase that guy all the way to River City High, and then it will mean something. So I don't know why they make it so you can chase Proto. Spoilers, that's the guy you can chase. That's his name. I don't know why they make it so you can do that before it actually matters, but yeah, every time we enter this room, it's just gonna do this and force you to watch it and cost you time. But again, we can't actually chase him yet, or else it's just gonna be a waste of time. We have to instead go to Chonwook Park, and that's where we're gonna need to fight more people and spawn Me. And in Act 3, an hour into this run, we have received the blocking tutorial! Ding, 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 ding! We now have learned how to block in River City Ransom Underground. Isn't that amazing? Okay, hopefully we don't... Uh-oh. So I can already detect that this is not going well, because I have just heard some random stuff happening without being able to see it, which means that there are people stuck behind the bathrooms. There they are. And that is going to cost me time. Thankfully, nobody was an agent. So we can just fight these people fairly straightforwardly, and hopefully we don't get any last-minute reinforcements because this took a long time, and hopefully none of those last-minute reinforcements are agents. Because that would make this go like a minute and a half longer than it needs to. Thank you. Okay, and here we go. Me, you're not gonna get past me. Hey. And this is a slightly awkward fight because if you knock him into the swing set, then it activates and then the swings knock you down, and so we're just gonna try and keep him away from that. That was a very smooth fight. And now I'm going to level up again, and I probably could have consumed that RCRU way earlier because I had gotten a lot of level ups already, and I'm probably going to be dealing with the fact that I've just gotten annihilated by this jock, and he just ate out my pectoral, which is exposed, I'll give him that. But come on, man. And is this place? Yep. Okay, so this is something that can happen in Act 3. All the shops can be full of enemies, which is an issue because you cannot buy things while they're in there, but thankfully you can just exit and re-enter the shop, and if they're gone, then you can shop. So let's get those octopus rolls, but I should be dealing 12 damage now already after getting those level ups and eating that RCRU. Now let's go back here and activate this cutscene one more time, and because we have defeated me, now we can chase him and the next part of the game will activate. So more block sliding all the way back to River City High. Let's get a few donations and announcements in.
All right, so I do have another donation announcement break planned after this one, but it's close to the end, a bit of a ways away. So this will be a nice break period to allow you to really breathe and go wild, but I'm usually very casual about allowing hosts to cut in and ask for times to chime in and bring some announcements in. So don't worry about that. I have been a host before for a GDQ event, and so I know how it is, but hopefully you've gotten a sense throughout this run of how many chances there are to be able to hype up and support the event while staying in lockstep with the game.
All right, thank you so much. Perfect timing as always. Here we are at River City High School, and now we have to clear out this room, and oh no, there's an agent. Already not looking so hot here. Hopefully we don't get more agents with the reinforcements, but it's time to fight an agent and show you why they're so bad. So, for one thing, they love to hop all over the place and avoid all of your advances, and never mind, that agent fight was perfect. Ow! So of course, the regular enemy fight is going to be terrible. Another thing that's a problem with them is you see how long it takes for their death animation to happen? Okay, there is another reinforcement agent. Not good. So once they reach 0 HP, they start flashing red. This is bad, because if you leave them flashing red long enough, then they will duplicate into another agent. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, there they go. So now they're not actually at 0 HP, it's at low HP when that happens. So they can keep flashing during their death animation, and if they duplicate while they're dying, then it will save them and they'll duplicate anyway. And now we're fighting Slick for the 3rd time, and he can one-shot me immediately. This has happened to me recently, so let's really try and focus here and try to not get unlucky and just keep eyes on the very beginnings of every single one of his decisions and states and just stay as vigilant as possible. All right, there we go. Okay, we did not get one shot. Now, let's get our final fist bump. That was the final battle with Slick, and so let's just get decked by a jock again. It was still not the final battle. We defeated Slick 3 times, and the game's not over. What's going on? If Slick is not the main antagonist, who is? We still don't know. So let's just go to this Hall B area, and I am going to hightail it to this hideout so I can get a quick save. Because if I die here, then it is a lot of running that I have to redo, and the entire Slick boss fight that I have to redo. So for a marathon run, let us absolutely play it safe. Ow, I have exploded, and I'm on fire, and my hair has been singed. And I've been humiliated once again by a very athletic young man who is very gray. This could be going better, but I'm still having a great time. I really hope all of you are. As you can see, we have to clear out this room to trigger the next event. We are getting close to the end game here, and thankfully we didn't have to face any agents, but we might as well have been with how terribly that went. Oh well, now it's time to fight that guy we were chasing, Proto. And I can also get one shot by this guy. That has happened on multiple occasions. I'm going to try to get him in the air. It's very, very, very finicky to actually do that with this fight. I want to try to, like, with how immediately on frame 1, he can one-shot me. I really need to get him completely in the air so he can't do it. Okay, he was nice to me there. But this is the secondary option, just trying to do as many bird kicks as possible and just send him across the room. He can also jump on his own, which is good luck, but if you're ready for it, but whatever, we got through it. We got through it. That is the important part. We did not die. And now it's time for one more cutscene skip. Blink and you miss it. Hi, Chris. Bye, Chris. We just skipped the dialogue portion. And that was the last major time save that I've discovered in this game. I've been labbing this game so hard ever since, and I just cannot find any new time saves. So please feel free to look into this game. I highly welcome it. Any new runners, any new labbers, please. But now it's time for the end game, and now it's time for agents, but there's a way to quick kill them. I messed it up. Okay, but I got away with it because there's only one agent here. So the way these next waves are gonna start is me camping out by that hole that they're gonna come out of, and finally use Ryan's new stone hands technique, which is good for speedrunning, at least here, because it can knock all the agents into the air immediately. So you can, hi Celine. Everybody say hi Celine. Hi, Celine. Anyway, so you can knock them all airborne and then try to juggle them right away. And now they're going to be 2, so we got to really nail it here. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay. It wasn't perfect, but at least it wasn't an absolute disaster. That's another failed fist bump. I snuck another $2 loss in there just because. And now I'm very sad. And we don't need money anymore. It's always tempting, but there are no instances where we can buy anything. But now our next wave here, they're all going to be coming out flashing red. If we miss this, we're done. All right, we got through the second lift section because this is such a good beat 'em up game. It doesn't even have one lift section, it has 2. Brilliant. But this is gonna take us into the end game because we finally have reached it, everybody. We have reached the River City Ransom Underground. Here we go, everybody. This starts out with a very tight platforming section. Let's see if I can get this. If I don't get it, I'm gonna run into an invisible wall. That's really tight. But, I mean, that's fitting for this run, right? I've run into every single possible wall, even walls that don't exist. And here we go into some very, very, very high variance and annoying and dangerous sections. This first one is the turret room. And guess what? Both of these 2 rooms that I'm talking about have 4 agents trying to annihilate me the entire time, all at once. And it is so difficult because all of them are going to be so desynchronized, all with their incredibly useful moves, and all of them know when you have an advantage over one of the agents, and so they're going to make it impossible to chase after them and just interrupt you at the worst possible times. And usually that's going to happen whenever they're flashing red. Oh no. Okay, please just let me get this guy. Okay, I got some extra hits on him, and it doesn't look like it, but he's still in his timer for duplication, and thankfully he did not duplicate while he was dying. This has been a bit of a disaster, but at least we didn't die, and at least we're through. Okay, you see how much of a disaster that was just innately, even without the worst things coming to pass? Boy, I'm glad it's over. Well, now it's time for something way worse. You know what? It's even worse? Lasers! Laser! Drill! So this actually can be helpful, believe it or not. And I went really aggro there because I knew that those guys were going to get caught by the lasers, and so I was trying to deal as much damage as possible. But this actually makes them more attackable because the lasers, whenever it hits them, it automatically sends them airborne. The one downside to that is that it can catch them while they're flashing red and extend their timer so that they can duplicate when they're not supposed to. But I really like the fact that the lasers always send them airborne, so we got through that a lot faster. But check this out. Check this out. I knew that was about to happen. Oh my freaking goodness. This is a perfect video game. So whenever they turn into slime like that, it extends their detection area so that even though he didn't get hit by the lasers at first, he got hit by it afterward. But now here we go. Here is the main antagonist. This is the final climactic battle, everybody. He's gonna try and run away this whole time, but we have to stop him. If he gets away, the run is dead. Let's do this. Let's try and keep juggling him in the air. Oh no. No, 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 no. Stay over here. Uh-oh. No, stay. No! Don't! I'm kind of boxed over here. I don't... What are we... No! Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyway, we're not supposed to fight him there anyway. We're supposed to actually be kicking this machine, and we're gonna fight him later. So now, once everybody appears, all these cloned versions of all the player characters who are gonna be trying to hit us the entire time, and once again, this is very luck-based, we're just gonna try and wail on this machine until it breaks. And then we can get out of here and go to the next part of the game, which is basically our final climactic fight.
Are you sure?
We got some platforming coming up, which can be tough, across some pits and conveyor belts, and then hopefully we're gonna try to not see any agents. Come on, game, don't give me agents here. This can be another brutal fight once we get through this room. What's it gonna be? 2 agents. I'm gonna take it. Not great, but let's see what we can do here. Let's see how they behave. He jumped. Oh no, but he broke out of. Apparently I did too many moves in too quick of an order. And now we got a reinforcement agent. I could die here. This could take like 3 minutes and I could die. And we got another reinforcement agent. This is so bad. Let's lock in. And that is how you deal with agents in River City Ransom Underground. And now it is time for the final truly dangerous fight in the game against the one, the only Dr. D. Let's go, everybody. I'm gonna try and set up the infinite combos every single time I can. I'm leaving the octopus rolls in case I need to heal, but he can one-shot me at any time. And let's, oh no, he's not behaving. I think he's just nervous, everybody. To get him to behave for me, we need to chant his name. Give it to me, everybody. Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D!
Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D!
No!
Dr. D!
Yes!
Dr. D! Dr. D!
He let me back in. I think that he was encouraged by your chants. And come on, baby. Oh no, I was off. I was off. I was off.
Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D! Dr. D!
Got him! Come on, dude. This is it. I need this right now. Give me the fist bump, please. Dude. Dr. denied. I actually just thought of that and I feel bad. I'm sorry. Okay, and what other way could this possibly end but with an escape sequence? So we have 3 minutes to hightail it out of here and try not to die. And guess what? If we fail right at the very end, we have to start at the very beginning of all of this, at the beginning of the lift sequence from my last save. And that's about 15 minutes of time loss. So let's not die.
Yeah!
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna send it. Yes, we got luck with the timers there. Let's keep going, everybody. Uh-oh. You know what else this game needed? Okay. A final form! And this is so trivial, because once you know how to get around his attacks and lock him into this loop, it is just free. I'm gonna open this up for some last announcements and donations. Take it away!
Obviously, this game means a lot to me. I think it is so built for this type of presentation. Even if that wasn't its original intent, it just sparkles in this type of setting. I dream of having it on the main stage at a GDQ. I believe that it can be an asset to any marathon, and it's all up to you whether or not you believe that is true, and that is completely fair. This was still very fun and rewarding for me to make, and this is one way for me to bring my dream for this game to a reality, no matter what. Let's bring this run home.
All right, thank you. We should be just a couple hits away here. So it doesn't matter how strong you are here. You always deal the same amount of damage to this final boss. So we could literally have never increased our strength a single time, and this fight will last exactly the same amount of time. Boom, there he goes. Come on, fist bump. Not even his mustache. Okay, a couple more rooms to go. I have been stun locked infinitely by this room, and that's not good. That's not good. I got bad spawns. I got away. Okay, we still have more flamey people to try to avoid. Okay. And now one more room to try to survive. Come on, just once. Give me a fist bump. Dead time. It's gonna blow. That was River City Ransom Underground in a little bit more than an hour and 10 minutes. Completed front to back. No unintentional deaths. It got pretty close a few times there. But thanks to all of your efforts in encouraging Dr. D, he cooperated. And we did not die at the worst possible time and lose like 15 minutes. That is just such a delightful game. I think I really love this game as much as a Bobo loves Misuzu. It's a match made in heaven, and they're gonna have a good time. I had a good time. I hope all of you had a good time. And it's really unfortunate that this game has been delisted from Steam, so that less people are going to be able to have a good time with it in the future. I hope to be able to bring this game a little bit more awareness, so that maybe sometime in the future it can be made available again in some form, so that more people can enjoy this, and so that more people can possibly pick this up as a speed game, because I really think that this is a cool Kunio game to be able to pick up. It's one you can really sink your teeth into because of its length, and because it is very luck-based, especially as you get further and further up to the top level, but it's not as reliant on luck just to be able to survive things as other titles in the Kunio series. Oh my goodness. And I really want to thank every single person at Conatus Creative who made this game a reality, because every single possible thing you can imagine was working against this game in development. I was a Kickstarter backer of this game back in 2013, and it was already experiencing some hardships back then, and it continued to go through some serious development hell with every single thing going wrong for them, all the way up from then until the game finally released on PC in 2017. And even then it wasn't good enough for people because they wanted cross-platforms, and it was a miracle that they were able to get this game at all on PC. And I will always be a supporter of this game, and I really genuinely love what we got, and I appreciate that we got this at all. And it's such a shame that people are going to have less access to it now, but thank you everybody who brought this at all to a reality. And this exists as an example of perseverance and just being able to get something done no matter what, to get something out when everything is against you. And I find that really cool. And I hope that you find all of this cool as well. Thank you for allowing me to showcase it and to be able to talk about it and to be able to geek out and dress as Ryan. Hopefully the pecs aren't an issue. Thank you for considering this game for your speedrunning event. Yes, there are some risks, and I want to play that up as much as possible for excitement value, for tension, for just the general energy of the room or of the audience in general. Because I'm going to have the benefit of safety saves everywhere. There are unlimited save slots that I can use for every single thing that could possibly go wrong for me to immediately pick things back up and just keep going like nothing happened. Even though things are terrifying all the way through and I can really ham it up for effect, we're never in danger of the run just DNFing or something like that happening. Like the end game, sure, if something goes wrong there, then it's a little bit more of an issue, but that is basically the only part where I have to really be careful. And again, I can play it even safer by saving my octopus rolls, and I can even, if I really want to, I can load a different save and have an even stronger character who has less of a chance of dying. There are lots of ways I can make this more marathon safe, and as far as this run goes, we did just fine. The end? Question mark? Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at my provided contact mediums. If you are an event organizer, if you have any questions, if you're just watching this casually or in any other means, feel free to leave a comment. I appreciate you all so much. Have a wonderful one, everybody. Dream on, folks. Peace.